This thing says I'm live. Maybe I am, maybe I ain't. Maybe it's Memorex. I don't know.
That's an old one.
Ain't it though?
Guarantee kids today would know what Memorex is.
Right? I've seen Avid and Sappy and Joe Fix It For You and Joe C have all been in there. Whether they are yet, I see two in there. I guess that would be Elaine and whoever else at the moment. We'll see if anybody else comes in. If not, oh well, it don't matter to me. It'll just come out as a regular video when it's done. Some of y'all might can tell from my latest videos, I don't care. I'm going to be like everybody else, speak my face. Some don't like it. Some think it's BS and I should stop. But I'll speak truth. And sadly,
Hey, there's Susie.
go see, there's Avid.
Avid's peeking in.
You know, sadly, some are so into their feels and so angry, they couldn't see the truth if it bit them on the, so.
Anywhere close to the knees.
Well, I don't know anybody that hangs that low, but, possibly.
Okay.
How did it, everyone? I don't know how it did it. Mama Bear!
Hey, Mama Bear.
Did you do that reading assignment I told you, Mama Bear? She was showing me something on Facebook earlier. She messaged me and explained it. And I told her to read Romans chapter 1.
Not yet, she will.
Uh-huh. I was kind of hoping you had. She may or may not be in here. She called me earlier. She was sleepy. She's getting better from her ordeal. She said talking this morning was as long as she had talked and since she had that done.
I understand, Mama Bear. I stay green.
I hear you. I cleaned our fans out so I could put them to running, and that's all it took to throw my back out. Well, it helps, Josie. It sure does. But Mama Bear, what Romans chapter 1, last half of the chapter, is about. It covers the things that at first glance you ain't going to agree with because it denounces and calls abomination that which some people do. And it also lets it be known that those who support it are in just as bad a trouble as those who do it. And this life is a choice whom we shall serve. And you can still love people, but not support certain choices. And they can do what they want to, but they can't do that and serve God. Don't matter. Oh, but God is love. Yeah, He is. He is pure love.
He's also jealous.
But He's also a jealous God.
Mm-hmm.
And being pure love, He cannot stand anything sinful. Can't allow it in. And if you choose something that is not only a sin, but what God calls an abomination, you ain't getting in. I can love you, think the world of you, but not support certain choices. And those choices have something to do with why Sodom and Gomorrah are no longer on this earth, because God destroyed it for that abomination. So, you know, it falls under that trying to serve two masters thing. You're going to love the one and hate the other. And certain choices are catering to the flesh because you like it. That's how you like it. So therefore, you're not subduing the flesh, putting the flesh under control, because you want to live this way, but claim the glory of God. Ain't going to happen. You're going to be sorely disappointed on Judgment Day. And if you support it and allow it, not saying you can't love a person for what they've chosen, you just can't be in support of what they've chosen. But if you do support it, you're going to suffer the same fate. And because it's an abomination to God, plain and simple. And in case you're still clueless as to what I'm talking about homosexuality. Male or female, homosexuality is an abomination to God. And it says it basically those that support that and enjoy that, that are the same as that. Oh, but why would God condemn? Because God said it's an abomination. Not everybody gonna make it in, folks. There's children of wrath as well as there are children of God. Saw a good example of how the media likes to throw hyperbole into things. Locally, there was uh, a protest, something about hands off. Anyway, local news station was up for it. They was out there and said there was thousands of people here, and back behind them you could see maybe 20 to 50 people out there for that protest. 20, 50 people maybe behind them. Somebody said on there, oh, they just got there late and most everybody done left. No, that protest was going on. They was going to be there when it was at its full crux. There's 20 to 50 people out there. Oh, there's thousands of people out here. Traffic's backed up. One person commented, I see maybe 20 people and it looks like normal traffic. That's how leftist media, mainstream media, exaggerates things, twists things. Perfect example of it. Video proof that the media will lie to you. So, love it or hate it, mainstream media lies. So I got to say it before it's come out. USAID paid Politico to function. The Associated Press, the AP, gets their news from Politico. USAID tells Politico what to say. The mainstream media gets their information, their marching orders, from the Associated Press. And then they spread that out to the masses who go, yes, master, and run with it. Saw another one out there interviewing people that was out there for a protest. They hate Trump, and they hate Elon, and they're, oh, we can't stand him, we hate him. Arlene, howdy.
Hey, Arlene.
But they couldn't tell you why. They had no clue. They just don't get out there and protest. And like good little lemmings, they got out there and protest. Of course, I'm sure a lot of them were there paid from a Soros-backed and supported organization, as have many of these things been. Interviewed one guy in front of a Tesla place that was protesting Tesla. He admitted it. He's getting paid to be out there and do that. Maybe know a lot of the others there with him was paid to be there to do that. But not a true protest, folks. That's bought and paid for. So, mainstream media is trying to say that Trump's wrecking the economy. No, he's rebuilding it. There's already been, I think, $4 to $6 trillion in business and manufacturing already come back to the United States. It's already produced over 200,000, almost 300,000 jobs in March alone. How's that destroying the economy? Isn't having jobs and business here on U.S. soil good for our economy? Tariffs used to be how America made its money. Made it hand over fist. There was no such thing as income tax until 1913. Some dude had a bright idea of taxing American citizens. That made it easier on them. They just tax us, and they got away from taxing imports. We started footing the bill. Before 1913, people got to keep everything they earned. When this country was first started, it was property owners who paid tax. You weren't a property owner, you didn't have to pay tax. The founding fathers, most of them, died poor because they had invested everything they had into getting this country going. Contrary to what public schools have tried to tell kids today, that they were all rich. Well, they might have started out rich, but they were being patriots, and they invested all their money into getting this country going. Much like Elon's doing today, he's investing a lot of valuable time into trying to help save this economy, this nation. Saw one posted about the possibility of them thinking about opening up public lands for normal use. Well, they ain't very public. You got people there telling you when you can and can't be there, and what you can and can't do while you're there, and charge you for being there. That's not very public. There's a lot of resources there, so why not? That helps America out. Helps American business, helps American manufacturing. Resources, people. Jobs. Money is made here and stays here. It's very basic economics 101. It's not hard to understand. You put tariffs on people that are used to be here anyway and went over across seas to do manufacturing and business, and then send it back over here for next to nothing and get cheap labor. But we send anything from here over there, we have some extremely steep tariffs put on us. So we lose in two ways, maybe three or four. How does that make sense? Well, you start putting tariffs on, those businesses and manufacturing comes back over here to avoid the tariffs. That brings that business back here. That brings jobs back here. The reason they went over there to begin with was because when they put in NAFTA, they had so many regulations and taxes being put on them, they couldn't make a profit here. So they went to other countries where they could. Yeah, those are Democrat ideas. And it's not like Obama and Pelosi disagrees with it. There's video evidence showing where Obama's talked about it. What Trump is doing now was what should have been being done then. Pelosi, 30 years ago, talking about it. That's what should have been being done then. What changed? Well, they've got a vested interest in things being over there. They got a vested interest in helping to destroy America. That's why. They're going to lose money. They got a vested interest in government agencies not being audited because they've had major grift going on. They've been stealing like a mofo from those things. That's how they've been getting rich. So, of course, they don't want somebody auditing. You got the Pentagon haven't been able to pass an audit the last 5, 6, 7 times. Whoa, hold up. You can't pass an audit. Hit the brakes. Slam that thing in park. Let's see what the problem is. No, they just keep on going business as usual. Because there is money laundering going on. There's people getting money that shouldn't be getting it. They can't even tell you where it went. I'm sure they could, but they know that's going to mean jail time if they do. It's not a hard concept. I mean, like I said, it is simple, basic economics 101. How can it be bad? Well, Democrats want to tell you that it is bad. Oh, it's going to harm these people and those people and those people and these people. Now, the only ones it's going to harm is those who have been on the take and benefit from the scandals that are going on. That's why they don't want it looked at, because it's going to be found out, and it has been being found out. Get what it was actually about. There's one thing that showed proof of things Democrats have done. They thought they had all the files deleted. Eli found them. He said their knowledge of technology was woefully pathetic, or something like that. It wasn't good. You know, Eli knows so much about computers, I have to believe half his brain is computer, because he understands computer very well. He can find things. I'd be almost willing to bet he could take Hillary's hard drives that she put bleach bed to and and find those emails. I guarantee you they're out. They're still out there somewhere. I bet Elon can find them. And folks, that in itself, her destroying all that, should have been all the proof. Anybody with even an ounce of brain to figure out she's guilty of sin of the very things that she's trying to say others have done, which is true to Democrat tactics. And folks, you'll if you look at it, if you study it, you'll find that the tactics that the Democrats use, they'll claim the good things that someone else has done, and they'll blame the bad things they've done onto those who didn't do it. That's a communist tactic. That is communist strategy. They point the finger at somebody else. Every single time. It's not hard to figure out, folks. What amazes me is most people can tell when somebody is throwing them a lot of BS in their personal lives. They're not able to detect the BS coming from those who are straight up lying. It blows my mind. Well, kind of does, kind of don't. See, there shouldn't even be a battle between Democrat and Republican. It should be American. That's what I am. I'm an American. What's good for America? Trump is good for America. Elon making those audits is good for America. Yeah, it's a little painful, especially for those who are getting found out. Those are the poor souls that those Democrat politicians are worried about. They ain't worried about you. They worried about themselves. They've made themselves multi-millionaires from being on the take. There's one, I forget if he's a Democrat or Republican president, but he said, if you're a politician and you're rich, you're a crook. Now, the only reason Trump is because he was rich before he went into it. Elon can't get into politics. He wasn't born, or at least become president. He was born on foreign soil. And he became a naturalized citizen. It's just sadly amusing to see how dumb people can be by being so easily misled. Then they want to get out there and be violent and claim somebody like me is the Nazi because I support Trump. They the ones out there destroying and burning stuff. You can tell they don't know what a Nazi really is. Gonna claim Elon's and Trump is Hitler. They don't know who Hitler really was. So, seems I may have lost one. I ain't got the 4 in there. That's all right.
I got 5.
I got 5. Okay, well, that works.
I got 6. You going up, Piggy? You going up?
Well, that works. Some people might figure I'm done with the hard stuff.
Hey, Aaron.
Nope, I'm not. Aaron!
That's right. He did. Aaron, it just came out not long ago, not even a week ago. It's been verified. He has children.
And you can guarantee CIA had something to do with helping make sure he got away.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, that stuff's been corrupt for a long time. So the communists came into this country in the year 1900, same year that they went into Russia. It only took them 20 years to bring down Russia. And they came in through the schools. And you'll find that's where they came in here. That's another one of their tactics. In the 50s, there was a big hunt for commies. In the late 50s, the Communist Party. Now, the Communist Party, one of the reasons you know it, can verify it came in 1900s because 1939, the Communists held their first national convention on U.S. soil. Now, I believe in freedom of speech, but I don't believe in freedom without consequences. If you're trying to spew something contrary to the United States Constitution, of which we are a constitutional republic, we are not a democracy. Democracy leads to socialism. Socialism leads to communism. That's why we are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. Those folks up there on the hill are not our leaders. Y'all quit calling you dad blasted leaders. They are your representatives. They work for you.
Elected representatives.
They're not up there to tell you what to do. They're up there to do what we told them to do. They're not your dad blasted leaders. We elect them to lead the people. They're going to do the job we sent them there to do, not the other way around. Get it straight, people. Yep. Oh, they're still there, Aaron. That's one of the things Trump is trying to do is weed them out. Personally, I think that if you're working for China, which they all are, because all those trails are going to lead to China. And I think if they're found out, I think they should suffer a traitor's fate. Now, I don't wish nothing bad on nobody, but they've done it to themselves. The sentence for treason on the level of which they're doing it has only one sentence and only two ways of carrying out that sentence. Boom, booms, and ropes. That may sound harsh. Yeah, I'm a nationalist. I'm a patriot. I believe if you're talking smack about some other ideology should be installed, I think you need to go in the worst possible way. That's why I went and did this, folks. Sign that check for up to and including my life if need be. To be one who served and helped protect this nation. Sadly, I didn't get to go to combat and die a hero. God had other intentions for me. But I did my bit. So for me, it's infuriatingly insulting for somebody to say that communism would be better, that socialism would be better. No, it wouldn't. Plenty of examples how it don't work. And only the very top of the crust get to enjoy the benefits of those ideologies. That ain't how it's supposed to be here. You know, Dianne Feinstein, chauffeur of 30 years, communist spy, that was her handler. That should have had her thrown in prison right there, awaiting sentence. She died on the house floor. Her handler is still trying to get her to speak and sign papers. She's sitting there dead. That's how bad those on the left are. Biden, McConnell. You can tell that their minds went whoop. They still trying to get them to do stuff. That should have had all them in those people's offices behind bars, investigated. No. But anyway, the communists came in 1900. They had the first national convention on U.S. soil in 1939. In the 1950s, McCarthy wasn't allowed to go far enough. They squashed him because they said he was going too far. I don't think he was allowed to go far enough because he was getting too close to the source. But in the late 50s, you'll notice, if you study your history, the communists seemed to disappear. But in the early 60s, they reappeared as the New Democrats. The Communist Party took over the Democrat Party. That's why JFK had to go. He was going to let that and more be known. Because just a week prior to his being took out, he let it be known he was going to come out with all that stuff. And he wasn't going to endorse his vice president for presidency because he didn't think he could do the job.
Yeah, he was going to choose a different vice president for his second term. Because he did not choose Lyndon Johnson to begin with. The Democratic Party chose him.
So Johnson had a whole lot to do with Kennedy being taken out. Mm-hmm. I'll tell y'all another one. George H.W. Bush. He had been part of the CIA. He was one of the founders of the CIA. A little tidbit about him. It's believed that he was the young man that was a lab assistant to Nikola Tesla. That's why when Tesla died, all his stuff disappeared. And when it got found out that tower he was building was not the secret behind his going to be able to transmit power to everybody's homes, they shut him down. The secret was in the box that was going to be at every dwelling. Tesla had discovered that you can, and I've seen this recently, others discovering, that you can get energy from the ground. Tesla had a circuit in there, and I'll guarantee you it was a step-up transformer. You take the energy it was getting from the ground and run it around, increasing that energy to make the electricity needed to run a home on. Free energy. Well, the major investor in all that figured it out. And he figured out that would take a lot of power away from him because he wouldn't have all that money coming in and have control over people through electricity. They shut him down. George H.W. Bush was the one who brought all this stuff to them and kept them aware of what Tesla had. I think there was something about German descent about him too. And his name had been changed. Go digging for it. It's out there. So this thing's been going on for a long time. Trump's not going to be able to fix it in a day. So anyone who wants to complain about, oh, he didn't do it on that first day, he started doing it that first day. But it is going to take a while. You know, it's going to take a lot of work and some time to undo 100 plus years of something bad being buried into the system. So I'm back down to 5. Somebody out there didn't like what I had to say. Yep, truth hurts. Sorry, not sorry. I don't offer no band-aids. Yeah, so like I said, it's going to take a little time to undo 100 plus years of burrowing in by the enemy. Like they did in Russia, they came in through the schools and started teaching kids their way, little at a time, until finally they could do more of it, more of it, and more of it. And then once they got enough of it, they started sending their little minions out into politics. And that's how it's done. That's why it's slow, steady, like boiling a frog. Frog never knows it was being boiled until it's too late. Until it's too comfortable in the heat to realize it's being cooked. It's a type of warfare, which is another reason why a lot of people don't see it for what it is. It's slow, kind of like aging. It's slow. You get busy with life, and next thing you know, you're almost 60 years old, and you wonder where all of it went. I say that, Arlene. That makes 3. Oh, well.
Yeah, I'm still here too, so that's okay.
So, I'm kind of like the X-Files. The truth is out there. Like many have been saying, conspiracy theories turned out to be conspiracy fact. Well, it's not that they're insane, it's that they think they're going to be lauded as great heroes in the end. But when it comes to communism, what they don't realize, failure means you die. That's another reason why all these dumb politicians are scrambling, because they know that if Trump succeeds, there's going to be a very bad person coming to visit them. And it won't end well for them. And that'll be done to keep them from talking, to make sure they don't talk. That's how that stuff works. It's not just in the movies, folks. What you see in the movies is depicting what actually goes on out there. It's like one that said about the UFO thing years and years and years ago. The best way to hide a conspiracy is right out there in front of people's noses.
Mhm.
Now they put it right in front of your nose in the movies. They're telling you what they're doing. But since they get put out there in a movie, which is supposed to be fiction, they sitting back laughing while everybody eats it up and they get paid for it. Well, now I'm down to two.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's all right. I'm not going to shut up and I ain't going to cut out early. I might cut out about 6:30 because it's fine by me. Just, you know, hopefully it's just things they had to do. Oh, back up to 3.
Hi, Jody.
Well, if it isn't the queen of catfishing herself.
Can't chat.
Well, I'm on my soapbox doing my thing, Jody. So brace yourself.
She's driving and listening.
Yeah, but that's how they put it out there. Tell you exactly what they're doing, but you know, is by putting it out there in movies. A lot of movies they've shown that how they've been teaching all this. But since it's been put out in a movie, you be called crazy because when you start looking at what's going on in the movies and you start looking at what's going on in reality, you start putting two and two together. Like, oh crap, they're telling us what they're doing. Now the whole movie ain't going to be all about it. It's going to have little tidbits of it here and there throughout the movie. But they putting it right out in front of your nose, which has been said. Best way to hide a conspiracy is right in front of people's noses. What better way to put it in front of their nose than in a movie? That way folks are, oh, that's just the movies. Is it? Then you start studying history and different things. And you start putting it together. You're like, oh, crap. They've been telling us what they're going to do 50 years ago through the movies. That gives them plausible deniability. Oh, that's just the movies. You can't take any stock in that. While watching those folks doing those very things. So, and as I said before, if I put it out there, I speak truth. Now, it might take anywhere from a week, 30 years before I'm proven right. But eventually, I get proven right. And it's not because I'm anything. God shows me stuff. God reveals it to me. You got to think like they would think. And then you'll see it. Most people can't do that. Having been in the military, I think a little bit strategically in tactics. Paul Harvey said it best. If I were the devil. Y'all ain't never heard that speech. Y'all need to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because Paul Harvey said it best. It is the epitome of exactly what's going on. Yeah, they'll jump on any topic, but what they do when they jump on it is they take bits and pieces of something and then edit it to where it kind of says what they want it to say to prove their side of it. They don't give you the whole thing.
They'll edit everything to where it's.
They'll edit everything to where it proves what they're saying. Like that example I saw today, Channel 3 News in Chattanooga. Maybe 20 to 50 people behind her. There's thousands of people out here protesting. Hyperbole at its best, folks. Proof of mainstream media lying at its best. Yeah, I just shook my head when I saw that. I thought, good gracious, you want proof that the media lies? There it is. There's one commenter on there. I said, I see maybe 20 people in normal traffic. Which that commenter was right.
Now, if I'm on the interstate, I might see 50 or 60, but I don't do the interstate.
Well, this was at a main place in Chattanooga and everything. And actually, to me, the traffic looked rather light for that time of day. I mean, there was a lot of cars there, granted, but for that area, the traffic looked rather light. That girl on there saying there's thousands of people in traffic backed up. Yeah, they were pulling up to the red light. Normal traffic conditions. 20 to 50 people maybe out there. She gave the whole world proof that the media lies just in that. And yet people who see through the lens of hate or emotion can't see it. Because that's what they want to believe anyway. So, hey, I'm back up to 5. Well, I don't care what I say on here. There ain't going to be many come in. I ain't never going to get big. Well, there's Mama Linda.
Hey, Mama Linda, hope you're feeling better, bud.
But like I said, that one thing was proof that the media lies. Referring to a thing that happened, Mama Linda, today, that hands-off protest going on across the nation. Girl on there saying there was thousands of people out here, backed up traffic. There might have been 20 to 50 people out there behind her, and the traffic was normal for that area. The her hyperbole was astounding. That was all the proof anybody needs to know that the media lies. Mainstream media lies. So, but people who want to believe the mainstream media will see nothing but what the mainstream media says is there. Because it's what they want to believe. They don't want to see that they're being lied to. That's what makes it worse. That's what makes it really sad. People don't want to believe they've been lied to and fooled and made them wrong and have to admit that they were wrong. Worst thing anybody hates to do is admit they're wrong. So they will continue to believe a lie, and the liars who are telling them the lies in order to keep from being wrong. You can't help those folks. Simple as that. So anyway, that was a big thing for me today, seeing that, seeing the proof. Now, Mama Linda, this was a reporter with Channel 3 News in Chattanooga that did that. So, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was our local news.
That was our local news. Local news reporter, Channel 3, did that. So, no, not a private person, a mainstream media person. Straight up proof positive that the mainstream media lies. That's why I keep saying the mainstream media is lying to you. And that today was a perfect example. So somebody tried to say, oh, well, they got there late. Most everybody else has done left. No, then something like that going to go down. The news is going to know about it. They're going to be out there for it. Big story, big story. They ain't going to miss out on a big story or a hopefully potential big story. She out there, and it was obvious she was like thousands of people. There wasn't but 20, 50 people maybe behind her. Maybe. Look it up. It's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So not private people, media people, mainstream media people. Back down to 3.
Yeah, there's probably now in Washington there were thousands, and there were a lot of
There,
videos
and
from
I
there.
think it was Boston. I saw one on Boston that showed thousands.
Yeah.
You know, that was legit. But then, you got thousands of liberals out there.
Yeah.
So I would believe that down here in Chattanooga. There weren't thousands. It was obvious looking through her cameraman's lens. There weren't thousands. There wasn't traffic backed up because of it. It was normal traffic. So that is proof positive evidence that mainstream media lies and the hyperbole that they'll put in stuff. I guarantee you her producer is going to have her high when she got back to the studio. You just gave them proof that we lie to them. What was you thinking?
I would.
I'm sure there's a lot of people, Mama Linda, that was filming and all like that. But this was Channel 3 News. News reporter.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see in these other places where they've got reporters out there reporting on these protests and different things.
Mm-hmm.
Spinning it from their perspective. Oh. I mean, you can look it up. It's out there. Unless they took it down because she humiliated them by showing proof of their lying. If I was a more advanced YouTuber, I'd took it, clipped it, put it up for you to see. And I'm talking about down here, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
What is it? The PSV? No.
WTVC, Channel 3. You know,
That's 9.
was that 9?
Yeah.
WRCB. So, if I'm not mistaken, okay, yeah, that would have been yesterday. I saw it today. That was Channel 3 news reporter, mainstream media. I'd laugh if they took it down.
I'm looking on their Facebook page to see if they posted it. Like I said, they could have posted it, like I said, taken it down.
Well, I know I saw it. Somebody had posted it on social media. I forget exactly where it was at. So, Mama Linda, sorry, not sorry. You can say how about private Facebook accounts all you want to. I saw it from Channel 3 News itself. Or somebody's posting of it. But it was Channel 3 News, mainstream media. So, kind of like a read 'em and weep. It's the truth.
Yeah, I found the post. It was from 11 hours ago.
Okay.
Hands off protest.
That would have made it this morning. Around 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Well, 6:30 a.m.
They're reporting that from yesterday, so yeah.
Okay. But they got it and they posted it. But anyway you slice it, it's mainstream media. And that girl straight up lied. So, proof positive. No way of getting around it. No way of trying to make excuses for it. That was proof. Just like when they was trying to show Kamala Harris rallies. They tried to make it look like there were hundreds and thousands of people there at her rally. If somebody got footage of the whole thing, there might have been 100. They lie. Not Arlene, you take care.
Not our lane. How big figure is.
That puts me at 4. Don't look like there's gonna be any latecomers in here. Truth has a way of shaking people loose. And it can be upsetting. I understand. It's hard to handle when you find out you've been lied to. Yeah. Yeah, it happened. But down here, it's that little reporter from Channel 3 claiming thousands. They want maybe 20 to maybe 50 people back behind her. She was claiming thousands. Messed up traffic. Now there's about 20 to 50 people, and traffic was normal. Straight up lied. So that's what they're told to do. They're told to make it into something it ain't. So yeah, I saw, like I said earlier, I saw one from Boston. Now they truly did have thousands, but they couldn't tell you why they was out there. They couldn't tell you why they hated Trump. They couldn't tell you why they hated Elon. The TV told them to. They just couldn't tell you why. So you could tell it was mainstream media told them to. Because the mainstream media said it was bad. Like you say, mainstream media is not your friend. It's your propagandist master. And individually, there might be some good people in that thing. They're having to do it in order to have a job, make a living. I'd hate to know that my job was having to lie. But for that money, recognition, and potential fame, don't lie. Again, Mama Linda, I'm not denying that the protest went down. More in some places than others.
I think truly large cities, Washington, D.C., Boston, and truly liberal cities,
Right.
had huge turnouts. Thousands of people turning out.
Because there's a lot more liberal people there.
Yeah, and even
And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of liberals in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
But there weren't thousands of people there.
Right.
That girl saying thousands of people back here behind me. 20 to 50 people maybe. Talking about traffic being backed up. It wasn't backed up. She straight up lied. That is proof that the mainstream media will lie to you. And that's just one example. There's many, many others. Things they say don't match up with the truth. That one just happens to be outright proof of it. Well, I'm down to one. I guess that leaves just me and you. I done shook them all loose. I'll stick around for a minute. If it don't change or go back up, I'll get off of here. Boy, I love truth. It shakes out the ones that can't have it. That's fine, Mama Linda. I'm not talking about there. I'm talking about down here.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that little reporter that reported on it down here in Chattanooga. I ain't talking about anywhere else. I know it went down everywhere else.
No, we've seen video of it. We've actually seen news coverage of it.
Yeah.
We're saying here.
I'm not denying it didn't go down all across the nation. And as far as from where you from, that one place you're talking about, I'm sure there was news coverage there somewhere.
I did hit the thumbs up. Yeah, we're just talking about in this.
I'm talking about a little girl down here on Channel 3 News of Chattanooga.
Yeah.
And you can tell she was straight up lying. It's proof positive that the mainstream media lies. And I have seen examples, like from Boston. There were thousands of people there. It was amazing the amount of stupidity that showed up. That's how I see it, because they don't understand what's really going on. They've just been told it's bad. And because that's what they want to believe, they go with it. They can't tell you why. Yeah, well, there weren't no thousands of people there.
There might have been a few hundred, if that.
There weren't that many. You could look at it.
Yeah.
There might have been 20 to 50 people behind her. And she said, there's thousands of people here. No, they weren't. She straight up lied. There ain't no getting around it. And what there are liberals in Chattanooga, they ain't enough to have thousands there to begin with. There's a lot of liberals there, but there ain't that many liberals there. And that's what I'm saying about it. There's no getting around it, Mama Linda. Girl straight up lied. Perfect example of what the mainstream media does. And as I say, there's plenty of examples of mainstream media lying to you. That one just happened to be blatant. So you can argue with me about it all you want to. It ain't going to change the truth of the matter. It ain't going to change the fact that you can see with your own eyes there were not thousands of people there. The area that was in is a highly trafficked area to begin with. So there's going to be a lot of traffic.
Where was it held anyway?
Ross's Landing.
That's one.
Up there where they got that merry-go-round, antique merry-go-round inside that building.
Okay.
Where the old riverboat used to be set.
Okay. All right. 100%.
Yeah, now you know why it's a busy area.
Yeah.
An extremely busy area. Traffic actually looked kind of light for that area at that time. I know the area. I know what it should look like. There weren't no thousands of people there for a protest. The girl straight up lied. There is no changing the fact. There is no changing the fact of the proof of the hyperbole that girl partook in. So, you know, other big cities like Boston have thousands of people that are going to believe the lies they've been told and get out there and riot and protest and do all sorts of madness. Some of them are mad because they're going to get found out they're able-bodied and able to work. Going to have to find a job from those guys that are coming in from the businesses and manufacturing that are coming back to the United States No more freebies.
Well, they've been told they're going to get 2 years on Section 8 now.
Yeah.
Uh, Everything's going to get cut. If you are able-bodied to work, you have to get out and get a job or go to job training school for job training.
They've been on the freebies to the point where the signs that say "Don't feed the bears" is showing why you don't feed the bears. You keep giving them free food, they're gonna expect it. When you stop giving them free food, they're gonna get violent.
I got cousins like that. Don't feed the bears, that's for sure.
And humans are worse than animals are about such things. They get used to getting it for free. They get all tore up. They get the freebie taken away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I got so many of them out there. A lot of them understand they're gonna have to find work because the freebies are over with. So of course they're mad. But if they actually get a job, start paying taxes like everybody else does, they'll start understanding why working people get pissed off because these folks getting freebies that could be working. Still showing I just got one. That's all right. The truth shakes them loose. And yeah, Mama Linda, I'm a redneck too. Old Southern boy from Georgia. Old redneck. Like everything else, you got 10% that makes it bad on everybody else. Because you got some just plain out white trash claim to be redneck. They ain't redneck. Rednecks believe in working and earning what they get. White trash claim to be rednecks. Freeloaders. Make the rest of the rednecks look bad. I'm going to wait for her to get back in here. And then I'll get off this thing. Did you log out? I said, did you leave out? Okay. Well, I think I'm going to shut this thing down. What do you think? All right. Well, the truth shakes them loose. Y'all think about it. Piggy loves you.